What up, y'all? Welcome to the Rolling Bob NASCAR podcast. I'm your host, Zach Moore. We're back, episode 5 of the Rolling Bob NASCAR podcast. 3 champions are crowned at Phoenix Raceway, Trucks, Xfinity Cup. Exciting to talk about. Break down all the action, all the storylines. Also, we'll go to some off-track silly season news. So, let's get into it. Truck race. To your top 10, Christian Eckes. Second, Jake Garcia. Third, Chase Purdy. Fourth, Jesse Love. Fifth, Ben Rhodes. Sixth, Grant Enfinger. Seventh, Dean Thompson. Eighth, Kane Honeycutt. Ninth, Tanner Gray. 10, Nick Sanchez. Congrats on Christian Eckes getting his second win of the season. Great way to end the season. Get some momentum for next year. Your stage winners were Ty Majeski first in stage 1. Corey Heim first in stage 2. There was 10 lead changes, 12 cautions. Ty Majeski had the most laps. Your 2023 Craftsman Truck Series champion was Ben Rhodes. Grant Enfinger finished second. Corey Heim finished third. And Carson Hocevar finished fourth. Corey Heim finished 18th. Carson Hocevar finished 29th. The truck race was the worst truck race I ever watched. It was terrible. There was barely any clean racing. No one was giving anyone respect. This was downright ugly. It was an embarrassment for NASCAR, embarrassment for stock car racing. It was a gimmick. It was a gimmick race. NASCAR said this format's not a gimmick, but this race, you could sure make it a gimmick. You should sure make this race a gimmick, and that's what they did. I mean, I feel like one of the reasons it is because the truck race, there's just no respect. The truck riders, they're a bunch of young, spoon-fed, silver spoon kids. A bunch of silver spoon kids, young kids, early 20s, late teens. They just don't have respect. They don't have the mental capacity to control their emotions. They're just making bad decisions. They're wrecking. It's just not clean racing. As we all know, the Carson Hocevar and Corey Heim incident was pretty much all-star with Carson Hocevar driving too aggressive, making a bad decision, and he wrecked Corey Heim. And he did not cost Corey Heim to lose his championship. Corey Heim did it to himself. Because then later on in this race, Corey Heim chose to take retaliation back on Carson Hocevar and run him up into the wall. And he cost himself a championship after that, and he also cost Carson Hocevar a championship. And yes, I get it. Corey Heim did it. He retaliated. He was mad. But the reason this is, to me, I think what Corey Heim did versus what Carson Hocevar did was worse, was because Corey Heim did it where Grant Enfinger was leading. This was 4 laps to go, and Grant Enfinger was leading this championship. He was beating Ben Rhodes by a spot. Ben Rhodes wasn't gaining anything. They were just kind of staying there. Grant Enfinger was going to win this championship if it stayed green. But instead, Corey Heim interfered with the championship and chose to retaliate at Carson Hocevar and wrecked him and took out Carson Hocevar, and that's why he finished 29th. You know, Carson Hocevar was apologizing. He was upset for making that mistake to Corey Heim, and I understand why Corey Heim was mad and why he retaliated, but you cannot be retaliating at that point in the race. It was a terrible look for NASCAR, terrible look for the championship. And then later on in this race, we almost had Ben Rhodes was leading, and they had this led to 4 overtimes. The second overtime, Zane Smith misses a shift, wrecks into Ben Rhodes, busts in this flipping corner panel, and that almost cost Ben Rhodes a shot at the championship. Now, that's not Zane Smith's fault, but he missed a shift, and we almost had Grant Enfinger win the championship. But luckily it didn't, and Ben Rhodes was able to stay in front, and then going into the last restart, they were able to finally race clean, and then going into the last turn, Grant Enfinger was coming on new tires, and I mean, Grant Enfinger could have bumped Ben Rhodes out of the way to win that championship. He was on a bumper, but he chose to race clean, chose to race with respect, and not interfere with another driver to win the championship. And Ben Rhodes went on and won the championship. So, congrats to Ben Rhodes on winning this championship. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, I get Corey Heim should have won this championship because he was the best truck that day. But due to the inexperience and the disrespect that drivers have, and they race like freaking dog crap, that's what happens. You have a messy championship race. Congrats to Ben Rhodes. That's his second championship. Got another championship for Ford in the Truck Series. I mean, his post-race interview was hilarious. He was getting pretty tipsy, getting drunk out of his mind. It was funny. His first one was funny, so I think that's why a lot of people were kind of wanting him to win the championship because they just won another funny interview. So, yeah, congrats to Ben Rhodes. Let's move on to Xfinity. All right, now let's get into Xfinity Series race. Your top 10 was Cole Custer first, second Sheldon Creed, third Justin Allgaier, fourth Riley Herbst, fifth Sam Mayer, sixth Josh Berry, seventh Austin Hill, eighth Chandler Smith, ninth Sammy Smith, 10th Kaz Grala. Your stage winners. Stage 1, John Nemechek. Stage 2, Cole Custer. There were 12 lead changes, 8 cautions. Most laps led were by Cole Custer, 96. Domination. Your 2023 Xfinity Series champion is Cole Custer. Justin Allgaier finished second in the championship 4, finished third in the race. Sam Mayer finished third in the championship 4, finished fifth in the race, and then John Nemechek finished fourth, finished 28th in the race. John Nemechek had, I think, the best car in the beginning of the race, had a good short run car, but when later half the race, he was no match for Cole Custer, who had a really good long run car. After the longer the runs went on, Cole Custer was the better car, better handling car, and John just couldn't do anything for that. But then the reason he finished 28th was he got in a little wreck, got in the wall. He was racing really, really aggressive in the last restart. Kind of got up to the wall. I think he got hit from behind and just lost a lot of momentum from that. And I think someone ran to the back of him and got him up into the wall, smacked the wall, lost a bunch of positions, momentum. Yeah, great season. He won 7 races this season. I mean, he was the best guy all season long in Xfinity Series, but then when it mattered most, just didn't work out for him. But good season for him. He'll be moving on to Legacy Motor Club next year. Sam Mayer was 5th. Good season for Sam Mayer. I felt like in this race, this wasn't a good track for Sam Mayer. I mean, I think his best finish before this was 11th. But he said this was the best car he's ever had. He said it was as fast as Xfinity 10G. I guess Cole Custer's was a little faster. It was probably as fast as a Xfinity 15G. It's so funny when those guys talk about the whole Xfinity, but it's great. It's great. It's a good way to help promote Xfinity. But his car was good, but it just wasn't top. It wasn't fast enough. It was like top 10. It was a good handling car, but just not where it needed to be. I just felt like he was never he was in contention on the last restart, but never outside of that wasn't really in contention. But good season for him. Good run. This will help him for next year, help him get better, more experience. He's still really, really young. He can't. I think he's like 20 years. He's 20 years old, so he's still really, really young. Has a lot of years ahead of him. I think this will help him for the future, help him get more experience in those situations. So if he does come back, get in this situation again, he'll be a little more prepared. And then Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier had an upside down, up and down race. On lap 4, he was racing a little too aggressively and spun out, racing John Nemechek. And spun out, and that hurt his tires. They had to pit, put new tires on. Those tires were still good enough. They were still able to use those tires, but right off the bat, he just pushed him a little too hard there. And I felt like that hurt him because I don't know. I felt like he wasn't on the same strategy. Because he went and got new tires and he was able to get his way up to right inside the top 10. But then after that stage, he had to pit, and they chose to put on the tires that he spun out with on because they didn't want to worry about putting those sets on near the end of the race. You don't want to, if you're in a late race late race restart, which they were. You don't want to have those tires as your only option. So they put those on early, dealt with those for stage 2, fine. And he was ran inside the top 15, but didn't get in the top 10. Got put on new tires, and I felt like he was good, but I just felt like, I don't know if it was track position, but his car just not top 5. He just struggled, I felt like. with his handling, couldn't get the handling right. I don't know. I felt like that split hurt him because he was never on the same strategy. Well, he was on the same strategy, but with the old tire pair coming in there, he was never on the same, strategy with the leaders. And I felt like he wasn't able to get good track position with having those old tires after stage two, on for stage two. So hurt him. I think he's been in the championship for like 7 times. He's been there all the times, but he's just never been able to capitalize. He's never been he's never won it. He's like 37, 38 years old. He's a good race car driver. He's a good race car driver, but just another year of disappointment. But he seemed a lot more happier, a lot more at content because I feel like every year he knows he has a chance to come back and do it again. So great career for him. Won 4 races. Was in contention. And then your champion, Cole Custer. I mean, I felt like he had the best long run car in this race. I mean, dominated this race in later halves. Ran a great race. I mean, in a year where Stewart Haas really hasn't been that good, and I mean, especially in the Cup Series, they were able to, and when it mattered most, they were able to capitalize in the Xfinity Series. And Cole Custer putting on a great race, won three won 3 races in the season. I felt like he wasn't as dominant in the beginning of the season, but then they were able to turn it on in the playoffs. With Ryan Hurts winning and him running well. And in this race, they just put a great race. He didn't make mistakes. There was a late race restart there at the end where he got put like 4 wide and didn't have a good restart, but kept his composure and he just let the car do the work. He had a good set of turns in 1 and 2 and was able to have a great exit. And it was 3 wide between him and Justin Allgaier and John Agnieszek, and he was on the bottom and he was able to clear them both, go into 1 and just had a great last lap and took home the championship. So congrats to Cole Custer. He also announced he's coming back next year. It's great stuff. I think so. I assume with that, him not coming back, I think Noah Gragson's definitely the guy who's coming to take over the 10 car. So congrats to Cole Custer. Great season. He'll have a chance to defend this title next year. So yeah, that's the Xfinity Series race. Let's get into the Cup Series. All right, now we're going to head into our Cup Series Championship review. Your top 10 finishers. Ross Chastain first, Ryan Blaney second, Kyle Larson third, William Byron fourth, Chris Buescher fifth, Martin Truex Jr. sixth, Kevin Harvick seventh, Denny Hamlin eighth, Michael McDowell ninth, Bubba Wallace 10th. Your stage winners. William Byron stage 1, Chris Buescher stage 2. There was 4 cautions, 18 lead changes. Ross Chastain led the most laps, 157. That was his second career win of the season. I mean, he won Nashville, and then he was on a slow slump. Didn't win anything, but great way for him to end the season on a high note. Looking forward to going into next year. Your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion is Ryan Blaney. Congratulations to him, a well-deserving champ, as all 4 of them would have been. Kyle Larson finished third in the race. He ends up rounding up second place for the season for the championship. William Byron finished 4th in the race, finishes up 3rd in the championship 4. And then Christopher Bell finishing 36, ends up 4th out of the 4. I thought this race was a really good race. I thought it was one of the best races. One of the best championship 4 races out of the 4 races we have had here at Phoenix. I thought it was really entertaining, really compelling. I thought the racing was actually good. I really enjoyed it, personally, for me. I felt like you had it was really compelling because you had 2 things going. You had one battle for the lead and one battle for the championship. This is the first year, I think, since this format that the winner was not the championship 4 contestant. So, congrats to Ross Chastain again. We got a really good race, really enjoyed it. Still hard to pass. They still got to work on that, and I think they will. They got to work on getting rid of the shifting, get rid of dirty air, not as bad. Because, I mean, Ross Chastain was mirror driving the crap out of Ryan Blaney. He was just going wherever Blaney was going, he was going. Putting Blaney in the dirty air and making it hard for Blaney to make a pass. But Ross did nothing wrong. Ross was just he was trying to race for the win. That's all he was doing, and that's what he has the right to do that. So yeah, congrats to Ross again. If I look at Christopher Bell, finishing 36, blows a brake rotor and costs him a chance at a championship to race for it. In the beginning he was running top 10, qualified I think like 13th, but it worked his way to the front. And I guess he was complaining about his brakes getting hot. Um, and I was like kind of surprised. I think this early in the race he would have a brake issue, but uh, you know, since his brakes are hot, and I mean this is during the race he was saying that, and then they go commercial, and then they come back and he's on pit road, car smashed. Um, yeah, brake rotors exploded. I don't know if he was wondering if he was pushing the braking too aggressively, braking too much, or if it was or this was like a Toyota thing. I mean, Toyota has had some mechanical issues this year. I mean, especially near the end of this championship playoff run. I mean, with anything with the power steering issue, and then with Martin Truex uh, engine blowing up issue there. So yeah, disappointing for him because he didn't really get a chance to race for it. But a good season for him. But yeah, it definitely stinks after 2 years in a row. It was his first year last year. You know, different experience. I felt like this year he was going to be a lot more prepared, but never got a chance to really show it due to his mechanical failure. And then William Byron finishing third out of the four. Won stage one. Was dominating stage two pretty good, and then he kind of fell off near the end. And then I felt like he just never was as good as he in the beginning of the race. He was never as good as what he was in the beginning of the race. But no, he was still competitive. But I just felt like he was missing something that he needed. That Blaney found. I mean, he did I think regain the championship lead. I think midway through stage in the beginning of stage three, but then with cautions and pit strategy, kind of lost that. And Blaney's car came on strong in the long run. I felt like he never was that good. He was really good. I felt like he was really good in the short run, right? Fast in the short run. But then kind of fell off on the long run. Because you could see that even at the end of stage one. I mean, Harvick was right on him, but due to kind of hard to pass, dirty air, he was able to defend that for the last like 4 laps before stage one ended to get the win. And then even in the beginning, he had a strong short run car, right? But then in the long run, he kind of fell back. That's how he got past. So yeah, they didn't have all pieces lined up well for him to have a car capable of winning and battling for that championship. But all around, most successful, best car, best team all season, just comes up short. Disappointing. Definitely, missing. The best car all year fails to win the championship. So definitely disappointing for him. Definitely disappointing for Hendrick. But he's good. He'll be back next year to go at it again. And then Kyle Larson. I felt like Kyle Larson was an interesting one. Like he didn't lead any laps. He wasn't as dominant. I thought he was going to lead some laps. But he was a little. Like I felt in the beginning of the race, he was a little bit behind of his teammate on speed. But then I felt like in the second half of the race, he kind of found the speed that Byron didn't have. But I felt the Hendrick cars were both really good in the short run, really strong short run cars. But then on the long run, their cars just handling wise just were not handling as well as compared to what Blaney was. Blaney was decent in the short run, but really good in the long run. But yeah, I felt like he was just kind of, I don't know why, but like Larson was right there, but I felt like he was just quiet. His car just wasn't where he needed to. We had this. Kyle Busch spins with like 20 to go. We have this late race situation where they gotta go down there and pit, and Kyle Larson comes out ahead of all the four guys, and in a restart, and he was able to get a good jump, gets out to the lead. I think it was him and Byron was second in the running of the championship four. But then as it ran, it was like a good, within 5 laps. I mean, Blaney was able to get by Byron, and then Blaney was able to quickly work around getting around Larson. And I mean, pretty much, he got beat by Blaney, And the thing I get so annoyed is like I feel like all these NASCAR fans, we drool over how great Kyle Larson is. He's a great race car driver. He's incredible. From dirt to asphalt, he's going to run the Indy 500 next year. I mean, he's a good race car driver, but like in a way, he he got beat. The best, well, arguably one of the best race car drivers in the world just got beat 1v1 for a championship. So I don't know. It's like definitely disappointing for him to not make it happen. But all around good season. I think he had a crap ton. He was kind of checkers or records. I don't know how he had 40 plus DNFs. I think he has more than Kevin Harvick, and Kevin Harvick has raced like 400 more races. So yeah, man, he wrecked a lot. But a good season. He'll be good again next year. Hendrick's always going to be fast. They're always going to be good. But yeah, I guess came up a little short this time. And then we'll go into our championship winner, Ryan Blaney. I mean, won a race for him, won a playoff run, all the momentum in the world. I picked him to win it. I got it right. Yes, sir. I felt like this race was really good, and it was really interesting for him. You know, he didn't qualify well. In the beginning, and he qualified 15th, but he was able to continue to work on his car, build his car, make it better, um, make it better as a long run car. He kind of fell off. I felt like near the end of stage 2 there, but then there was, you know, after the end of stage 2, they were able to make the changes, improve the car, and then after that, I felt he was so good. You know, in the long run, he was able to fire off well in the short run. I mean, he had a big old battle. I mean, he was getting really, really mad at Ross because he gets to second and he's trying to pass Ross here early in stage 3. And I mean, they were beating the banging bad. And I think the thing was Ross was slower than what Blaney was. Blaney was a faster car, but because of dirty air, I mean, Ross was just aero blocking the crap out of Blaney. Where Blaney just couldn't do anything because Ross had the clean air. And Blaney was getting mad, you know, he bumps him, he throws in the bird. So Blaney was so mad. I feel like Blaney has a short temper. He gets very, really mad quick. And I was thinking that he was mad that like Ross was racing him and not letting him go. But Ross didn't do anything wrong. He was just racing for a win. He's racing for a championship. He's racing for a win for his team. And that's important to him. And that's how it should. You have the right to do that. But all around, great race, great run. Congrats to Blaney. You know, you had that late race restart, but you know he didn't crack under pressure. He got the car. He had a good restart, and when it mattered most, he was able to make the passes, get by Larson, beat Larson 1-on-1, and take home his first ever championship. Really, really cool for him. Back-to-back championships for Team Penske and Ford for the Cup Series, and Ford swept the whole weekend. Ben Rhodes, Cole Custer, and Ryan Blaney. I felt like when it was like a down year for Ford when it comes to just the Cup side, they were still able to make it happen, and they were going to get themselves a championship. You know, the thing about it, I do want to say is I get really, really annoyed with just the way some people talk about this format and how this format isn't, you know, everyone complains how Byron should have won. He was the most deserving guy. And, you know, he was so good in the regular season, but when it came to the playoffs, you know, but then the playoffs happen, he doesn't do that well, and Blaney's really good. Blaney really struggles in the regular season, and you know, he wins the championship because he was really good when it mattered most. And I just get annoyed because I like this format. I like it a lot, but I get annoyed. It makes me sad when, you know, Blaney wins championship. I'm happy for Blaney, but then everyone's dogging the format. Oh, you know, William Allen was the best, you know, and I get so sick of it because it's like every year when the playoffs come around, people are telling us how bad the format is and how it doesn't show us who the best driver is all year. But to me, I don't care what the format is. I do not care what the format is. It's you as a team and a driver, you gotta find a way to win the championship in that format. To me, it doesn't matter what the format is. This is a whole new age in NASCAR. It's not about the whole season. It's about being good when it matters. But you still have to be good in the regular season. You still have to get points. You still have to win, get stage points. And Blaney did a good job of that. He did fine. Yes, he struggled in the beginning, and Ford struggled. But when it mattered most, Blaney got it done. And Byron, he didn't. He was good in the regular season, but when it came to the playoffs, he got one win, but he wasn't going to win Texas if Kyle Larson didn't wreck. So I'm just sick and tired. NASCAR fans, to me, are the most negative fans in the world. They always are negative. They're always crybabies. They're always complaining. It's like, geez, if you don't like the format, don't watch. Go watch F1. Go watch IndyCar. If you, or if not, then let's support the format. I get it. Either way, I do want the format to change. And the only reason I wanted to change is just so fans could stop complaining and freaking being negative about the sport. I love NASCAR. Nothing's gonna stop me from watching NASCAR. But I just feel we have to figure out. I would love if they go to a 3 race format. Okay, it's 3 races. It's all about you don't have to win. It's not one race. I would like that more because I think fans would be more like that more. And I get it. I don't. I still think if they go back to the old Winston Cup or the chase for the Sprint Cup format, where it was all about overall points, that you're going to draw in more fans. Now you may make the hardcore fans happier, but how many hardcore fans are there compared to what we could draw in for new fans? Because that's how you're gonna build the fan base. But all that, great season. Congrats to Ryan Blaney. Congrats to all the champions. Yeah, let's head into silly season, off-season news. Let's get it. First topic for the silly season news slash off-track news. Ford unveils the new Ford Mustang Dark Horse for the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season. I gotta say, this car looks really, really sick. I mean, it looks really, really, really aerodynamic, if that's even a word, if I can even say it right. I can tell they definitely have improved on their aerodynamics side of the car. That's kind of where they've been lacking this year with it. So hopefully these changes to the body are going to help improve it because the current next gen car is 2-0 in championships, undefeated. It's going to go down as the winningest car in Ford history, but it still wasn't. They still had the least amount of wins this season at 8, and I think Chevy had like 16, 17 wins. So hopefully this will help improve their overall performance on the track. So I got good for Ford. And then Sheldon Creed versus Richard Childress Part 2. There was some news that dropped. People thought that Sheldon Creed parked it in turn 3 and 4, cost Austin Hill, wrecked Austin Hill because of it. He was slow, but I guess not. Technically, it was reported he had a mechanical failure. Andy Petrick reported about it. He apologized to Sheldon Creed because they were blaming him for the way he raced Austin Hill down in the last turn. But because he was going slow, it caused Hill to run in the back of Creed and wreck Hill. Hill missed it, and Creed missed it because he got beat by Justin Allgaier. But technically, it was a mechanical failure. That's why Creed was so slow. So hopefully, Richard Childress apologizes to Sheldon Creed because so far I have not heard anything about Richard Childress apologizing, but Andy Petrick has. Because if not, if Richard Childress does not apologize to Sheldon Creed, he's an even bigger idiot for calling Sheldon Creed the stupidest driver he's ever had. I mean, hopefully he has apologized because it's been a couple of days since the season's ended. And also like Austin Hill, he gets asked about because Sheldon Creed and him were racing hard during the Phoenix race, and in his post-race interview, he was asked about them racing hard and how it was clean. He was saying, he said that I was just showing Creed how you should race a teammate, acting like Creed did anything wrong, acting like Creed did anything different than what Austin did in the Martinsville race. They were both racing hard. They were both giving each other no to little room. They were both banging off each other's door, bumping each other, racing hard and aggressive. I mean, I guess Austin Hill is just butthurt still and is a little crybaby. I mean, seriously, RCR, man, they just are whiners, dude. They're complaining, especially after this. Especially after knowing that Creed did nothing wrong, and they're still going to complain. I mean, gosh, I can't stand RCR, Gosh, so annoying. But yeah, good. I mean, good for Sheldon Creed. Hopefully, good thing he's getting out of there. Good thing he's going to JGR where he's going to be way more competitive than where he is at RCR. And it's going to be a good storyline going into the 2024 season for the Xfinity Series. But yeah. And then let's go into our state of the sport breakdown. Steve Phelps, Steve O'Donnell, presidents, higher ups at NASCAR, talked about all the stuff that the future stuff for NASCAR. stuff from this season. Just a lot of interesting stuff I wanted to cover. First couple of small ones. There was 50% more sellouts than last year, so that's good. More people are coming to the track. I went to Pocono. I mean, there was a packed, high energy, lots of energy at the track. So that was really fun just to be there. There's a lot of people. People are having a good time. People are enjoying the racing, so that's good. Good that more people are coming to the track. Hopefully that keeps up. Hopefully it's a little higher. Hopefully there's more sellouts for next year. And then also their digital consumption. So more people are checking out NASCAR on social medias and stuff. So that's good that more people are checking out NASCAR on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's not Twitter, it's X, whatever it's called. So that's good. That's good that people are more engaged with the sport. That's what we need to help grow it. Um, Also, they were also talking about how they were a lot more shocked about how much interest their TV they're coming out with. They have a new media rights deal, new TV deal coming in 2025. So it seems like there was a lot more interest than they expected. Right now, I think it's going to be Fox is going to be the first half, and then NBC will be the second half. But in between those two, the summer, a 6 week summer stretch, there's talks that Amazon Prime could be coming on and doing like exclusively streaming, which I like that. I know some people are gonna hate it because they're gonna pay, but I couldn't care. I love NASCAR so much that I'll pay. I'll happily give NASCAR my money. So hopefully we can get another. It's always good to get another network to come and stream your events. And also because Amazon has a lot of people have Amazon Prime, so they may be scrolling through on Amazon Prime and see other NASCAR races, they'll check it out. So I think it's anything new, any new media network that comes on is always great for NASCAR. Um, and then there was a whole speculation with Iowa now coming onto the schedule that Iowa was just a replacement for Montreal because Montreal, Canada, was going to be the road course that F1 races that they were going to run Montreal this season. But I guess that got shut down just due to I guess they were saying that NASCAR just wasn't ready to go into another country and stuff. But there's rumors that Iowa was just there to replace it. But actually, they had in the ideal situation, they were saying that they wanted Iowa and Montreal both on the schedule. So that's good. Hopefully, Iowa can stay around. 'Cause that's a big market. That's a new. NASCAR has owned Iowa speeding for a long time, but they stopped going there for a couple of years. So now that it's going to come back, now it's coming back to the Cup Series. I think you're going to get a big time crowd there, and I think you're going to get a lot of fans to support Iowa. And hopefully, in 2025, they can get Montreal on the schedule, get the Cup Series into Canada, help build that fan base because that's how you're going to grow the sport. If you can get into other countries, that's the thing about F1. F1's a global sport, so that's why it's so much bigger. It's because it's global. If NASCAR can get a little global, their main presence is going to be America. But if they can get one race in Canada, maybe one race in Mexico, who knows somewhere else? Because now they've proven with this new, with the Chicago, with the LA Coliseum race that they can build a racetrack in any stadium. So that's also a good way that if they want to go do a race in some stadium in Japan, they could. So that's good. Hopefully Montreal comes back, and that's great for Iowa. That hopefully Iowa can have a long-term place on the schedule. Also with charters, there's been a lot of charter talks about NASCAR. Teams want the charters to stay. NASCAR didn't really want them to stay, but I think teams and NASCAR realize that they need to stay because it's the only really source of income teams really get when it comes to just overall. I mean, Spire paid $40 million for a charter. I mean, if NASCAR just takes that away, that's pretty messed up. It's not fair at all. You just pays $40 million, you're going to take it away. So, and the charters is pretty much a way for a team to be guaranteed a spot on the track, a spot in the race. So they definitely need to keep that there. And I guess also with the whole media rights deal, this TV deal is important. This new TV contract is important because a lot of that money is also teams want more slice of the pie. More so if a team if a network if Fox is paying $25 million per race just to show their races, well, NASCAR wants the teams want a bigger piece of the pie. They want a little more percentage of the money because I think the majority of the percentage of the money goes to the tracks. And so the teams want a little bit more of that money. So what they could do instead of having to worry about sponsorship so much, they can go out and they'll earn money from this deal, and also they can go out there and hire the best drivers instead of hiring the guys that got the most money. They can hire the best drivers in the world. So yeah, hopefully, I guess once the TV deal is done, then I think the charter agreement will be figured out because that's once they figure out how much money they'll make, teams will make, then I think the charter agreement they'll sign an agreement hopefully for like a long term full a long term deal for the charters to stay. So all good stuff. Hopefully, and all gets figured out sooner rather than later. And then also the demolition of the Isle Club Speedway was announced officially. They're demolishing that track. It's in California because NASCAR sold that land for $100+ million. Got a ton of money for it. I think the goal is to still build a short track there. So NASCAR, they confirmed that that is happening. They still plan to build a short track. I guess they're going to be ready. They're ready to build that short track once everything is done around that track. Once that's demolished, so that's good. Hopefully they can build a good short track there, and hopefully that before long that the short track package is better too. So that's good. Also, Steve O'Donnell talked about that NASCAR has already built an electric car. There's already been an electric car built. Electric stock car has already been built. It doesn't. They don't plan to race it out anytime soon, but they do plan to show it off in a couple races next season. Maybe have it run around on track. So that's pretty cool. They've been developing this thing in this new R&D center. R&D center. So they've been developing this all electric stock car. I'm not a fan of the whole electric thing because I like engines, I like motors, I like power. If they make an all electric series, that'd be cool. Like if Tesla would come on to NASCAR, that'd be kind of sick. That'd be a big deal. That could help build the sport and grow the sport fan base wise. But if the only way we can get more horsepower is through like a hybrid component, I'm down. But as long as these engines are still loud and you still hear that V8 roar that I love so much. So yeah, all really cool things. It'll be interesting to see where that grows and goes to when it comes to the electrical side of NASCAR. And then also one of the main topics here was the driver star power talk. A lot of people, there's been a big talk around the world of NASCAR about how we can build driver star power, how drivers can become more popular. I guess NASCAR is actually building an all new uh, production faculty. So it's like a whole new production area to shoot media content, YouTube content, just different content that they can distribute out to all the different social media platforms. So that's going to be cool that they could hopefully do that and help promote some of their current drivers instead of trying to promote drivers that don't race for them anymore. I think NASCAR needs to work on promoting the current drivers, trying to get those current drivers out there more, make those current drivers do more appearances. But also, I feel like the sponsorship side, sponsors need to be more involved with that. They got to get their drivers out to appearances, so sponsor appearances. Sell merch, promote them, promote the sponsors need to promote their brand, whatever product they sell with their driver. Get their driver out there more. Commercials are expensive to do, but they could be helpful, especially with the right driver and the right brand that mixes well. Because I don't know, I know Domino's one year they did like the whole new, they promoted their whole new like drive-through pickup type whatever. They promote one of their new things with Denny Hamlin. Now, Denny Hamlin, I don't think it's sponsored by Domino's, but they use Denny Hamlin to promote it. Hopefully, with Ross Chastain going to Busch Beer, that they can maybe come out with a new watermelon because Ross Chastain is the watermelon man. They'll maybe make a watermelon flavored beer. So the sponsors, I think it's NASCAR's job to help promote, but also I think it's the sponsors' job because they're the ones that pay the money. They have kind of the main say because they're the ones putting the money into the team, the driver. So hopefully with this new, hopefully NASCAR can just work on. NASCAR needs to focus on the current crop of drivers and not look at. I feel like they've done a bad job with promoting like old drivers. They talk about. I mean, they did this Rose Bowl float this year for the 75th anniversary. They did this Rose Bowl float, so the Rose Bowl football game. There's a parade. Well, on the actual float was Richard Petty and Rajah Cruz. Rajah Cruz is a truck series driver. He's unproven. All right, and no one really knows who he is. And then you had Richard Petty. And no, Richard Petty is not racing anymore. He's a legend. He's the king, right? But he's not someone that people are going to should worry about because he doesn't race anymore. He's a great advocate for the sport, but like you're promoting two dudes that are not even in the top level. They're not racing. One's not racing anymore, and one is not even in the Cup Series. So I got to do a better job of promoting the current crop of drivers. But all good stuff. Hopefully they can work on that stuff. And also with the whole new Netflix, there's going to be a whole new Netflix series coming out. Netflix has been documenting the whole NASCAR playoffs. So that should be really, really cool when that comes out. Hopefully that can help bring in, like, give these fans that haven't seen NASCAR and gives them a whole different view. Because some people may think NASCAR is just, outdated. It's not near, it doesn't have the same amount of technology as what F1 does. So hopefully the Netflix series that's coming out about the NASCAR players does a good job of showing that off. Showing all the components about NASCAR and stuff. So that should be good. And then the last part, I want to talk about this new short track package news. I guess drivers did meet with Goodyear this past weekend about getting a tire. As we did see the tire, there was some tire wear this race, but also the Martinsville race. So I think Goodyear's starting to getting a better tire. But also when it comes to rules packages for the short track, um, they have said that they're not interested in not adding more horsepower. But right now, horsepower is not gonna be their main focus. They're gonna look at shifting with the new transaxle that they're gonna probably look at testing, and then also with underbody. So the rear diffuser, different components under there to try to get rid of horsepower, less downforce, all those little things. But I think what frustrates me about the whole downforce thing is NASCAR. I feel like NASCAR is so lenient from making change and spending money. I get so annoyed because the drivers know how to improve this short track package. The drivers know what to do, but NASCAR doesn't want to. They don't want teams to spend money. Who cares about what the teams want? You're NASCAR. You have the final say. It's the team's job, in my opinion, to agree to the rules. I mean, seriously. I guess these engine guys, Roush Yates, Hendrick Engines, RC Engines, all these high engine people that build engines for NASCAR, they know what to do to help increase horsepower. And I think they said they could easily add 100 horsepower because these engines are the same engines as what they ran with 900 horsepower. It's just that they build them to where they could only max out at 675 horsepower. I mean, seriously, 675 horsepower, that's freaking weak. And there's also talks about OEMs coming in. NASCAR wanted to lower horsepower because they wanted to bring in a whole other OEM. I mean, no new OEM, no new manufacturer. Dodge, they thought about it, but they're not interested. It's probably because there's not enough horsepower. Freaking Dodge, the one motorsport Dodge is really heavily involved in is NHRA, and those things are 12,000 horsepower. And also, Dodge makes regular street cars that make more horsepower than freaking NASCARs. I just get so sick of NASCAR. They're all like laying back. They're trying to milk everything. They're so lenient to making freaking change. If NASCAR needs to realize if they can make their racing better, fans are gonna show up. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna show up more. I will love short track racing, but the short track racing has been the worst product of racing. I mean, NASCAR just needs to freaking stop being so lenient about money, 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 money. You'll make more money when the racing's better. Sponsors will be engaged. You'll get more OEMs. Make that freaking horsepower. Freaking give us 1,000 freaking horsepower. I mean, I just get so sick of that. But hopefully, with these changes, hopefully they get rid of shifting and they get a better tire, which I think they're all going to do. And they have a couple tests. They're going to have some tests at Phoenix. They're going to be testing a lot this off season. So hopefully that all works out. But yeah, I think that's a wrap. It's like 1 a.m. I've been trying to record this podcast for a long time. But yeah, that's it. That's a wrap on episode 5. Hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Please give me some feedback. Give me a review. Check me out on YouTube. Check out my shorts. Check out my small clips. Check out this episode fully on YouTube. So hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.